I had written a piece for a review of total care education in the packages that you have. I wrote a piece reflecting on total care education over the past 35 years. And as I was doing this, I looked back at the speeches I had given to grads over the years. And a constant theme seemed to be, how do you prepare yourselves for a career 5 years from now, 10 years from now? How do you prepare yourself for an ever-changing world? 30 years ago, most of our grads were interested in three main fields. It were science, engineering, and mathematics. So it's fairly simple. We prepared grads for a career in science, mathematics, or engineering. 20 years ago, there was a shift where the majority of graduates were looking for a career in business. And so we adjusted our total care and our academic delivery to prepare students for the world of business. What careers are you going to face 5 or 10 years from now? So I did a survey. I went and I looked at what the futurists, the predictors, were saying. Futurist Thomas Frey says that whenever a column is written about the best paying jobs of the future, jobs like engineers, accountants, and computer systems analysts, they are all jobs that currently exist today. So many of these jobs will still exist in the future when you graduate. But every one of them will change as technology and communication systems make their impact. Grads, stop for a minute and consider how your cell phones have changed in the past 5 years. What will they look like 5 years from now? Howard Rheingold, who is a critic, writer, and teacher, who specializes in examining the implications of modern communications on society, predicts that the role of sensors in phones and sensors in the environment will turn the mobile phone into what he calls a remote control for the world. And this will make a huge impact in the next 5 years. We're already seeing blood sugar sensors for diabetics that plug into phones, sensors for environmental pollution. Rheingold thinks we will rapidly see the growth of body-oriented sensors. Smartphones plus sensors in the body and sensors in the environment lead to a new medium unlike the smartphones as we know them today. As a general rule of thumb, grads, and this has been true for the past 30 years, as a rule of thumb, 60%, that's 6 out of 10 jobs 10 years from now have not yet been invented. With that in mind, Thomas Frey put together a list of 55 jobs that will be in high demand in the future by the year 2020, just about the time most of you are graduating university. I picked what I consider to be the top 10 unconventional jobs. And listen to these, it's interesting. A waste data manager. Achieving more streamlined data storage in the future will require deduplication of specialists who can rid our data centers of needless copies and frivolous clutter. Think about that, a waste data manager. Urban agriculturists. Why ship food all the way around the world when it can be grown next door? Next generation produce growing operations will be located underground, often beneath the supermarket that sells it. Think about that. Avatar designers, you've all seen the movie Avatar, right? Avatar designers. The next generation of avatars will become indistinguishable from humans on a two-dimensional screen. However, avatars will only live in the computer world for a short time longer. He predicts it's only a matter of time before they emerge from the computer and appear as visual beings, three-dimensional beings, walking among us and working with us. Once an avatar goes through the radical metamorphosis from an image that we see on screen to a three-dimensional image that joins us for dinner, carries on conversations with our friends, and attends meetings for us, we will see work start on even more realistic avatars, ones that we can touch. This could be happening 5, 10 years from now. And then there's avatar relationship managers. As we enter the realm of using avatars, we have to manage the way they relate to other avatars or other people. so they don't say the wrong things. Here's another interesting job in the future, a 3D food printer engineer. 3D food printer engineer. Pushing the envelope for 3D printer technology even further will be the coming age of food printers, converting 3D printers to work with cartridges containing food stocks that will prove difficult and demanding on a number of levels. Those who can solve this kind of problem will be in high demand. I like this one too myself. Social education specialists. We learn from each other. But what is it that we learn from others that is valuable? How do we structure our circle of friends as a highly influential group that we rely heavily on to give us a constant stream of truly valuable information and advice? Think about that. I like this one best, a data hostage specialist. A data hostage specialist. Holding people as hostages, and we know the terrible, terrible situation in Nigeria. We're all praying for the release of our girls. But holding people hostages is very messy. But holding data hostage is a less risky crime that can be done remotely and has the potential for far greater rewards. This is especially true if the country you're living in condones your actions. This type of activity will give rise to the likes of data hostage negotiators, data retrieval specialists, etc. Then another interesting one, a nanotechnology strategist. Looking further ahead, he says, the convergence of nanotechnology, neurotechnology, and mobile technology will revolutionize the devices and the way we interact with them. Think implanted sensors and chips in you, connected to our brainwave activity. It's not too hard to imagine. In fact, the US Army is already testing them now with insect robot spies called drones to be used against terrorists. Drones are controlled from a great distance, are equipped with a microscopic camera and microphone. They can fly to and land on human beings using an integrated needle to take a sample of your DNA, and it feels like you've been bitten by a mosquito. And that's the real technology today. And the one that's nearest and dearest to my heart, and I'm sure to those of us on the stage who will be octogenarian soon, it's called octogenarian service providers. An octogenarian, by the way, is when you turn 80 years old and so on, right? As the population continues to age, we will have record numbers of people living well into their 80s, 90s, and 100s. This large group of active seniors will provide the demand for goods and services not currently being addressed in today's marketplace. So that's interesting. Look at all the wonderful potential jobs that might exist in the future that don't exist now, and try to think, how do I prepare myself? How do I prepare myself to take advantage of those jobs 5, 10, 15 years from now? The European Parliament and the Council, as far back as December 2006, recognized that there were 8 key competences that all new graduates should have in order to take advantage of the coming and fast expanding and changing world. And these are communication, mathematical competence, and basic competences in science and technology. CIC has prepared you for that, and you will continue to do this in university. Digital competence, learning how to learn, social and civic competences. Think about that. Social competence refers to personal, interpersonal, and intercultural competence. It's linked to personal and social well-being. I believe you have learned that, have started to learn those types of competences at CIC. A sense of initiative and entrepreneurship. And as a principal, I think this is an area we've started to work in, but we can certainly do much more in the future to develop a sense of initiative and entrepreneurship among our graduates. And finally, cultural awareness and expression, which again, you have started to learn at CIC. Grads, these key competences are all interdependent, and the emphasis in each case is on critical thinking, creativity, initiative, problem solving, risk assessment, decision-taking, and constructive management of feelings. Interesting. Grads, you've had a lead. You've had a head start in developing these competences at CIC, I urge you to continue to do so at university. Best of luck in the future. Thank you.